Hello, I'm Dr. Neil Schultz, and welcome to DermTV. Welcome to the final segment of DermTV Viewer Question Week for March 2012. Today's episode will feature questions from DermTV.com viewers. So let's get started with the first question. And this is from Shruti Rayo. She says, is derma rolling collagen induction therapy safe for people under the age of 18? Shruti, this really gets to the heart of the difference between chemical exfoliation and physical exfoliation. The Derma Roller is a form of physical exfoliation. So whether it's safe or not depends on whether or not you're using it the way the manufacturer suggests. And the point here is that it's going to be more aggressive and potentially cause some irritation if you do it for too long, or if you're pressing too hard, or at the beginning when the pins in the Derma Roller are very, very sharp. So because each of these variables feeds into how effective, or the flip side being, how possibly irritating physical exfoliation is, and because you're not really apt to do it the same way every time you do it, it's therefore more difficult to get reliable and predictable results with any type of physical exfoliation than it is with chemical exfoliation. And as you know, I believe glycolic is the gold standard for chemical exfoliants. But specifically, it is safe to use the derma rolling for collagen induction therapy as long as you're doing it gently and the way the manufacturer suggests. Let's go on to the next question by Sarah, and she says, can anything be done to diminish the appearance of veins on the face? Not spider veins or capillaries, just very visible, regular blue veins. And by the way, the same week Dan said, how can I get rid of broken capillaries naturally? Well, the reason I mention both of these is because whether it's blue veins, red veins, purple veins, or spider veins, number one, there is no topical product, unfortunately, that can get rid of any of these things. It's almost the last hurrah in color correction for skin. We have so many effective products to get rid of brown discolorations, but we have none that will actually make any of these broken capillaries or veins go away or become less apparent other than makeup. So whether it's natural or anything else, there is no topical product. And we do have very effective lasers for getting rid of these things, but there are no at-home products, I'm very sorry to say. Dr. Sangeeta Shah asks, is there anything that works to tighten abdominal skin after menopause? Dr. Shah, happy to tell you that we have a lot of new medical technology that uses machines and instruments for actually tightening that skin. And some of them are actually designed for that very loose abdominal skin after women have had several babies or postmenopausally. These work usually by either radio frequency or other types of energy that literally heat the fat layer under the surface of the skin. And you know what happens if you cook your steak or overcook your steak, you're going to make it shrink. Well, if you overcook your steak, but you don't char the outside of the steak, that's really what we're doing with this technology. We're heating and causing shrinkage of the underlying fat layer, tightening the collagen a little bit, but not harming the overlying skin. So there is very effective technology today. One is called Excellus, another one is called Thermage. Both of these are radio frequency devices that can be used to successfully tighten up that loose skin. So see a cosmetic dermatologist who specializes in skin laser therapy. Tony asks, she says, I can't seem to find a clear answer as to when exfoliants and or anti-aging treatments fall into my routine along with sunscreen. Will they come before or after sunscreen? If used after, can they penetrate through the sunscreen to be used? For prior skin cancer issues, I've chosen an SPF of over 100, but my daily moisturizer contains sunscreen too. So where does this all fit in? Tony, such an important question. Goes back to the fundamentally most confusing question in all of skincare, which is, in what order do I layer or put my skincare products on? And the most important rule is, of course, sunscreen first. And After that, if you are using other products, they have to be put on in whatever is a successively heavier vehicle so it can penetrate the first product. Well, to try to avoid the confusion or interference with sunscreen, I generally recommend that your exfoliants and anti-aging treatments be used at bedtime so there is no conflict with sunscreen. Usually it's your glycolic product first, then your antioxidants, moisturizer, and again, in increasing vehicle weight, so the successive product penetrates the product that you put on first. But in terms of morning treatments, I would suggest just use your sunscreen. If you're using a separate moisturizer, the moisturizer goes on top of the sunscreen. And you mentioned that during the week, you generally use a moisturizing sunscreen. That's perfect. I love combination products. There's absolutely no conflict between the sunscreen and the moisturizer because they're all in the same product. And that product has been demonstrated to be an effective sunscreen with an effective SPF. So that's the best way. I'm going to suggest you use your other products in the evening. Deej asks, hey, Dr. Schultz, how do you determine if your sunscreen is chemical-free? I've been speaking about chemical-free sunscreens or chem-free sunscreens for a long time, but I've never given you a simple rule. So this is real easy. On all sunscreens, at least manufactured for sale in the United States, on the back of the package, there's a label that says active ingredients. And under active ingredients in a chem-free sunscreen, the active ingredient is going to be one of two products. It's either going to be zinc oxide or titanium dioxide. If there's anything else under active ingredients, the likelihood is it's not chem-free. And if the active ingredient is only one or both of those, you can be sure that it's chem-free. Tasha Lau asks, do I have to remove my makeup if I'm just going to take a nap in the afternoon for, say, 1 to 3 hours? Tasha, of course not. There's no problem with sleeping with your makeup on as long as you're not rubbing your face into your pillow so that you could drive your makeup into the pores or maybe even spread it around and get it into your eyes. But the reality is, during the day you wear your makeup for 6 hours, 8 hours, 10 hours. There's no problem with sleeping with it on for 3 hours or 4 hours as long as you're just not rubbing it into your skin. Eric Hilmansa asks, does shampooing your hair or face more often make it more oily? I ask this because I've heard that stripping the oil from it triggers the oil gland to produce more oil. Eric, this question comes up in so many different incarnations over and over again that I'm so happy you've asked it, because whether we're talking about hair or skin, the only way you can make more oil is through your male hormones. Men and women have male hormones. But it is an old wives' tale that removing oil or making your skin dry will cause a reactive, what we call seborrhea, which is flowing of the oil or increasing the oil. What's happening and what people are responding to by asking this question is, as a result of removing the oil, you've altered the balance of oil and water. So if it seems like now there's more oil, it's because it's not being balanced by the amount of water that you had. So it seems like it's out of balance, but this is really just part of the adjustment process. Bottom line, you can't increase the flow of oil or the oil on your skin or your hair by frequent washing. What you need to do is you need to make sure that afterwards that you put your oil and water back in balance, and that may require use of a water-based or oil-free moisturizer. So that's it for this month's Viewer Questions Week. And don't forget, the subjects from so many DermTV episodes come from your questions, which are great, so please keep sending them in. And I'll keep answering as many of them as I can. Please join me again at DermTV.com. If you have a question, please send it to me by visiting DermTV.com/question. I'm Dr. Neil Schultz, and thank you for watching today.